Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about 4 dangers of becoming overly anxiety symptom focused. Being symptom focused makes your symptoms worse. They intensify it. And that's because you're showing fearful focus. You're pouring gasoline on an anxiety fire when you have a symptom and you show fear, you give a fearful response, and then you start to focus, then you start to listen for it. And guys, I did this with all of my symptoms until the very end when I finally learned my lesson, to stop making some of the same mistakes that I make each time I started a new symptom cycle. How many times have you focused on your symptoms and it got better? How many times have you given fearful energy or fearful focus or a fearful response to your symptoms and it's gotten better for you? How many times have you pleaded for it to stop and it went away? Doesn't happen, right? Because anxiety is fear. Fear is causing the anxiety to get worse. Anxiety wants fear to be justified. The body, the mind, the subconscious, fear is justifying that the symptoms are needed. And when you're looking for it, you're listening for it. And oh my God, what's that? Please, no. I'm telling you guys, anxiety is going to do the opposite of what you want it to do. If you want it to go away, it gets worse, right? That kind of is the mentality that I had whenever I started to challenge my symptoms to actually intensify and to get worse. It confused my anxiety. A little bit of reverse psychology that helped me anyways to get out of some of these vicious cycles. So yeah, that's the first obvious one. It makes our symptoms worse. The tension gets worse. The chest pain gets worse. The more we want it to go away, the harder it grips and tightens us. The second thing that happens, the second danger of becoming overly symptom focused, is your sensitivity and your hyper awareness goes up. You are developing a superpower that, trust me, you do not want to have. You have focused and you have listened so much to different symptoms, right? That you can feel things that other people can't feel. And then it allows you to be so aware of other things. So it starts with maybe 1 or 2 symptoms. You're super focused. You pay really good attention to it. In the background, it's making the symptom worse, so you pay even more attention to it, and you focus even more. You become sensitive all over, everywhere. So then you may feel a little weird sensation in your head that you may have not felt before, or that Joseph over here can't feel because he's not highly sensitive like you. He can't feel that. Then all of a sudden, you're realizing if you eat any type of carbs or a heavy carb meal, oh my God, my heart's palpitating more, or I feel a little bit more anxious. Whereas before you could eat whatever you wanted and you didn't feel any type of way, right? And we'll use Joseph over here again. He can eat a burger and fries and he doesn't feel anything. I'm not saying he's gonna feel amazing after a burger and fries, but he's not feeling super anxious like you are because you are very sensitive to everything that's going on in here. You have practiced listening and focusing on your symptoms. And another danger with all that is like a secondary one, like I said, you'll start to feel new things and then you'll become afraid of that and you'll focus on that. And guess what? Then that symptom gets worse. That headache or, that chest pain or that stomach pain will start to get worse. And it just compounds and you got momentum going in the wrong direction. So that's the second one. It makes our hyper awareness and our hypersensitivity, a superpower you do not want to have, go up. The third danger, now your symptoms are becoming more chronic. Chronic's a scary word. They are becoming more on autopilot. You are now noticing that you are having symptoms even when you don't feel consciously anxious. In the beginning, it made more sense. Maybe a cup of coffee caused you to have an anxiety attack, or being in a confined space made you feel like you had shortness of breath. But the longer that you focus on your symptoms and listen for them, again, the symptoms get worse, your hypersensitivity and your hyperawareness goes up, and now we're having stress hormones going through our body and being elevated for long periods of time, which doesn't help. It makes the symptoms worse. It's become a habit of the subconscious, right, to give you these messages that it's scared. So you're gonna get the tension even if you're at a barbecue or if you're watching a movie with your friend or going for a walk or doing some of the things that you love to do that shouldn't be anxious situations. I feel symptoms in certain situations and that makes sense, but I'm doing something that I love. Why is my chest hurting? So that would make me think that it was heart disease. Why is my head still hurting? I'm over here out in the backyard hanging out with my friends and why is my head hurting like this? Man, oh my God, this must be brain cancer that's happening to me. It really messed with my acceptance. And the reason that they're becoming more chronic is our stress hormones are becoming more elevated. We've really practiced and listened for these symptoms. So now we're overall just very hypersensitive, hyper aware of everything that's going on. And we've just caused it to be a habit. These symptoms become habits. The message is working because you're responding, right? But your response is not the right one to justify that the symptom's not needed. You're saying, I'm scared, I'm worried. So therefore the symptom's gonna continue. So that's the third one, guys. These symptoms become more chronic in nature, and they become basically on autopilot, where you don't have to be consciously anxious or consciously triggered, or in a situation where anxiety makes sense. You don't have to have any of those things going on for you to have symptoms. They're happening in the background constantly, 24/7. And the fourth danger of becoming overly symptom focused, and this is probably the biggest one, you stop focusing on what started your anxiety in the first place. Why did I have an anxiety attack? Why did I have a panic attack? What was my life like at that period of time? What are the things that I'm not doing right? What routine can I get together? What changes can I make in my life to prevent stress from getting to that level again when I did have that panic attack or anxiety attack? The symptoms blind you to the work that needs to be done. And I understand it is hard to focus on other things. It's hard to focus on, what started it, or trauma, or trying to figure out therapy, life changes, working out and eating good, and trying to regulate sleep whenever we're having panic attacks throughout the day. I understand, but that is the hardest part towards recovery, is making a conscious choice and then conscious effort to back that choice up, that I'm still going to do the things that I need to do for my recovery, getting a routine, doing my exposure, figuring out my root causes and why did this start up in the first place, so I can make sure that it doesn't happen again while I have symptoms. And some of you may just have a few little symptoms. Some of you have it really, really bad like I did. And I had it horrible. So I had symptoms throughout the day. So guess what? It was going to be harder for me. So for some of you, you've just got a couple things that you're contending with. Others, it's like you've been so focused for so long that it's just happening all the time. So it may be a little bit more difficult for you, like it was for me. So we have to realize that being symptom focused, as long as we're focused on the symptoms, we're not able to really do anything else. And it causes all those other things that I mentioned. Makes the symptoms worse, makes your sensitivity and your hyper awareness go up, makes the symptoms more chronic. And then those three things make it even harder to not be symptom focused. And then we run into the fourth one, where we're not working on what started this to begin with. If you made it this far in the video, go down below in the comment section and let's put an affirmation today. I will stop being symptom focused. I will stop being symptom focused. And guys, if you are ready for your recovery journey to start, check out my course, Elite Anxiety Bootcamp. If you need a routine, if you need the foundation, if you need a step-by-step process to get out of the storm, I got you covered. It's helping so many people out there. Check out my community tab, put out another review. I put them out on my Instagram, all my social media. You see the reviews when they come out. It's changing lives. It is helping people get out of their anxiety disorder, and it's changing their lives for the better. And I want you guys to be a part of that. My coaching info is down below. There's a link for online therapy if you're interested in that. Please subscribe, guys. Like this video, and until next time, keep fighting.